CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. All right, we're coming at you live from Streamline Conferences 2026. We're in Greenville, South Carolina. The guy you see on screen, that is Peyton Griggers, and he is with Hexagon EAM. Also, you can call that Hexagon Asset Lifecycle Intelligence. Peyton, welcome to CMMS Radio for the first time ever.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
I
feel special. I finally made the list.
Well, yeah. I feel special because last year I wanted to do this, and you guys were super busy, and we just couldn't make the time, and everybody was breaking down and all that, breaking their stuff down and getting out of town. And that one, we were down at the AC hotel, and this time we're at this embassy, and everything's kind of more self-contained. I think it's been pretty good.
Got everybody pinned up this year.
Yeah. You can't, you cannot escape. You have to engage, and it's still got that focus on the community aspect of it rather than trying to sell stuff. And we're trying to help people. So I want to ask you, on your Hexagon Asset Lifecycle Intelligence journey, how did you get there? Like, what was going on before that as far as your kind of industry expertise, and what were you doing? Can you give us a little background on that? Because I never got that opportunity to record it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I engineering degree, went to Georgia Tech a long time ago, and I majored in textile engineering, and ended up in Greenville, actually. So it's nice to have a conference in your hometown. So it's kind of good to be here. But went in as a textile engineer and as a process engineer in a brand new textile plant startup. So that was kind of my introduction to the maintenance world.
Yeah.
And I moved up to a process engineer, technical superintendent, and then I lost a couple of supervisors to what was then Datastream. So a couple of my supervisors left on me and went over that was in the early days of CMMS, right? It was still, you go way back to like Sidearm for DOS and MP2 and those early days. And and they kind of kept prodding me a little bit, and they're like, you should come check this out. You could do some really cool things. And so I went over and interviewed at Datastream, and 2 weeks later I was there. And I was in the early days. It was kind of the Wild Wild West. And so I was at Datastream for about 4 years and kind of went through various roles there. Just started as a trainer and then moved over to the technical side. And then I was running tech services for North America when I left. And then went to a company called Genesis Solutions. And I was there for 20 years. And it was kind of it was an amazing journey because that transitioned me from being a CMMS trainer, I want to say. I mean, configuring the system, teaching people how to use it, but really very short scope. You went in, you train them in those days as well, especially. And then Genesis, we kind of changed that model, and we started doing more of the reliability services. And why? Why are you implementing the system? What are you trying to accomplish? And it was a fun journey there over 20 years, and just really growing up with reliability and the approach to reliability. And then I finally, a couple of years ago, got the chance to come back to Hexagon, and now I feel much more empowered to talk about the asset lifecycle journey from a reliability perspective as well as a solution perspective and how you pull all that together.
I like, while you were saying that, how you said it, because that's really how it works. And I like people to know that the people they can talk to and work with, if they really have been in both kind of places, and you had that 20-year run of this reliability approach and actually understanding much more about that why does this matter, how does it really work, you can make a difference just in conversations because you understand what they're saying and you know what their goal could or should be and how to fill in those gaps. So that's not so much about software, that's about basic fundamentals and chasing outcomes that matter for the organization, but how beneficial is that to the plant floor?
Totally.
So you worked with a lot of teams over those 20 years, and then you come back to Hexagon, which, for anybody that doesn't know, Hexagon EAM is a very specialized carve-out from that. If you go all the way back to those original Datastream Mafia days, shout out to the Datastream Mafia, because I was in industry when you guys were out there, but I was a competitor. And what's good about that is you get to kind of watch and see and emulate, or, oh, they're doing that now, we don't want to do that, but we like this and this, so maybe, do we do that? Maybe not. So it's a fascinating industry for me.
I love it, and it's been so fun to grow up in it and watch it mature and become what it is today. You know, and you kind of hit on something that resonates with me. I'm a really big why guy. I mean, that's always my first question is why. Why and what? You know, why are you doing it? What are we trying to accomplish? And then my third thing I bolt on that is how do we measure success? So we need to answer those three questions before we start getting into anything else.
Do you tend to, when you're working with a client, you know, an organization of any size, right? It could be, you know, general, mid-level, maybe it's SMB or kind of top-end SMB, getting all the way into that real enterprise or global enterprise. Do you see that your experiences are like the way you talk and understand what's happening at a location that you're at? You're maybe doing a walk around, you're with the leadership or you're with the team. Do they recognize that you get it pretty quickly?
Yeah, usually. Yeah, it's pretty evident pretty quick. Not, I mean, just, you know, just understanding, being able to relate to where they are and what they're doing. And to your point, those 20 years of just going, understanding the different needs and the different sizes and the different complexities of what you're trying to accomplish is such a big deal too, right? You know, you can overwhelm somebody pretty quick in this space, and you can have people put themselves in a position to not be successful because they don't really understand those dynamics and what they're trying to accomplish and what's achievable based off of their resourcing and personnel and what they have to work with.
Oh, well said. And then with regards to being a provider of a solution with EAM, right? Like I'm a CMMS guy, but you know, there's lots of similarities and crossover. But you really kind of see where that's going to benefit them and how. And when we look at some of the other companies out there, we won't name any names. They know who they are. We all know who they are. Whatever. They've got like a bench that doesn't have a lot of that kind of experience. So they're just kind of pushing, and that might lead them to not understand or misunderstand what a business is really trying to do because they haven't had enough of that exposure. Do you believe somebody could become a great provider from like say they were at EAM, but they hadn't had those environmental experiences? What I mean by that is the environments that you were in over those 20 years, and even going back to Datastream too.
I appreciate you saying 20, by the way. It's been 30.
Well, I was talking about the 20 years at Genesis.
Oh, yeah.
That because that really rounded you out. Not that you didn't have it before, but now you got to skill stack. You got to be even more curious and learn by osmosis, all these different things, and you're getting all kinds of training on reliability and the best practices there. But do you believe, like internally, you can have people come onto the team that don't have those experiences? Maybe they're from a completely different industry, like retail, and they could be built up to still be able to really help and understand the clients?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, I think they need a good mentor, you know, and somebody that's going to take them under their arm and kind of lead them along and show them and educate them, and somebody that strategically places them in a position to be successful, right? So, you know, absolutely, I could bring somebody on, put them in the right conditions, and explain the different conditions as you go to different sites and work with different customers. And, you know, that on-the-job training sometimes is the best way to go. But it does take time. It's not a switch. I mean, you don't, in 3 months, you're not going to know everything you need to know. You've got to build that experience and work with those customers and do a lot of listening and learn a lot from guys like us, frankly, on, you know, what they've seen and done, and be open to that and how you deploy those kind of methodologies.
Yeah, and have different ways to present that kind of context of what you're doing. Like, you know, I've done it before, and I'm not doing this. It's more like if you want people to understand what they're doing for others, and they can't get that 20 years of being at Genesis, and they're here and they need to be productive, say within 12 months. I'm not talking about from a sales perspective, but maybe it's the deployments, the configurations, and the why, understanding the why. They can do things like have mentorship from someone like you and other team members that have been doing this. They can pick that up and then make it their own. They can study stuff, they can take coursework, but they can also get out occasionally, at least, on site.
Oh, yeah. You can't replace being out on site. It's so vital. You got to put your feet on the ground and walk around and see what they're living in. And there's nothing like living with a technician or a craft, an electrician or a mechanic or planner and scheduler for a day, and, you know, kind of getting into the life of what they're doing. That's where you're really going to start to learn and see.
Have you guys, and when I say guys, I'm talking about all the guys and gals, you know, Hexagon. Do you take your kind of newer up and coming employees, and sometimes they get opportunities to go for a site visit and kind of tour and maybe talk the talk with people and kind of witness maybe even a stand-up meeting or a maintenance meeting in the morning?
Yeah, I try to do that every time we have an opportunity. So
Oh, yeah.
did a ton of that in the past, but even here, we try when we go visit with customers and prospects. I mean, we always try to include, taking a good site tour or plant, spend some time out on the floor, talk with the teams about what they're needing, what's working, what's not. I mean, a lot of the key to success is listening, right? You need to understand where people are struggling and what you need to focus on. And
2 in 1.
Yep, absolutely.
Ask a question and shut up.
If you don't need to say anything, don't. One of my mentors, he was my boss when I first started moving into management back in the old days, and he pulled me off one day after I'd been on the job about 6 months. And he's like, "Peyton, I noticed when you're on a call and when it gets quiet, he's like, you feel like you have to say something. He's like, sometimes it's okay to just be quiet. Let the silence fill the room, let people process what's going on, and let them come back and tell you what to say next." Now, that was a great piece of advice that I kind of held on to over the years.
It's ideal because everything you do, although it's for the company to land clients and provide great service in the software and all this kind of stuff, that's all good, right? And we got to build our companies and make profit and blah, blah, blah. But it's always really about the client, because if we don't have them and we don't have the kind of clients that are the right relationships that go for the long haul, it hurts our business out of the gate.
If they're not successful, we're not, right? Totally.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in this concept. I've said it for, I don't know, almost 30 years, maybe more, that I'm in constant pursuit of the elusive win-win, because I've always felt like we're allowed to be as successful as we want to, provided we're making people as successful as they can be, with legitimacy and all that. And I also believe, it's kind of weird, because I was in the business and part owner of a software company and CMMS. The software is good and great and does all this cool stuff, and it's necessary and important, but it's about the people, the process, and then introducing these concepts around workflows, whether it is reliability or not. It's about them, what they do. How do you deal with onboarding clients? This is a weird question. Onboarding clients by mimicking, embracing what's already successful for them without them having to change the way they run their business or run their teams or run their workflows. Is that something Hexagon's known for? Is like, how do you work, and we're going to make it match that? Yeah,
I think it's all about understanding that process, right? And it's funny because I was thinking what you were saying when you were just kind of going through that spiel. I mean, it really is. I always tell people, it's kind of funny, but it is true. Systems don't fail. Peoples and processes and data fails. The system can be the best system in the world. If you don't have the right process to get the right things into it and the right things out of it, it's not going to be successful.
Yeah.
So you really have to understand how people work, and the tool has to facilitate execution of that work, whatever that work packet is, whether it's capital planning or EAM or, master data management, whatever. If you don't have the right processes and governance and diligence in place, it's not going to be successful. So I think that really is the key, is understanding where the customers are. It's a journey, and I've never been anywhere where people can't improve. I mean, I've been running around the plants for 30 years, and I've never been to a plant where they had everything together. I went to one time, and I finally found something. But
it's
everybody's got opportunity to improve, right? And I think the thing with as when we're trying to sell software, sometimes we go in so heavily loaded on the digital tools and the digital solutions, but it really is a whole ecosystem, right? You've got to have the process and the procedure, and that feeds the tool, which facilitates the work. And then, to your point, understanding where they're struggling, where they want to improve, their why, and what they're trying to accomplish, and then you configure the tool to facilitate that around their processes, and that's where you set up success. Governance is my favorite word. I mean, if you don't have people that own it and are responsible for it and are going to see it through, it's going to fail anyway. So I'm a big system guy, process and ownership guy.
Well, it's the way you've explained it makes complete sense to me, and I hope to anybody that hears this. I think when I think about Hexagon EAM, and I think about this big landscape of all these different type of similar systems that are there to support, manufacturers, public sector, it could be healthcare, numerous things, right? Oil and gas, and on like this. The thing that you guys represent to me, in my mind, is that true enterprise level where you're going through your own evolutions as it relates to what you really are, not just an EAM, but other solutions that run alongside and further augment what an organization can do almost across the board relative to their overall production, their, I don't know, digital twin, digital strategy and all that. Some of those buzzwords are just blah, you know, whatever, but we say them because they're placeholders for us.
Right.
So that we don't have to go through these long kind of diatribes explaining things, and they have meaning. But I think a lot of what I'm getting at here is solutions evolve as well, and the clients evolve with them, and then there's extra things that can be brought in the mix to further improve their business. And it's important that you have a company like Hexagon EAM, and this is not to promote the product necessarily, it's not about selling anything, that is seeing how industry is changing and evolving, while at the same time, this is the weird part, I feel like they should always preserve what they always were.
Absolutely.
But they're improving too. Yep. So that they can mature and find more ways to help you mature, and that's how everybody wins.
Totally.
And it can be a challenging system to set up if you don't know how, but you guys have an ecosystem of partners that actually know this stuff like the back of their hand. They know how to ask the right questions and listen and get it done. I mean, we've got a bunch of them here at Streamline.
Yeah. Oh, there's a ton of knowledge out here.
Yeah.
It's amazing the people and the things these people know. And yeah, it's great. It's a great pool of resources here to learn and grow and build those relationships and partners when you do need help as well, right?
Well, and even customers, right? So like
some of the customers are sharper than some of our consultants. I mean, they've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. Well, the first one that pops off my head is Dora Heimsoth.
Oh, she's incredible.
And
she's the best salesperson I've got.
Well, and for her, it's not about selling. She's passionate about asset management. Mm-hmm. And
loves what she's doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, you know, a lot of people get stuck on this idea that, oh, I need software, and it's all about the software, and it's not really that, but it's this tool. Mm-hmm. Do you see anything in our industry, and I say our because I'm kind of lightly in there, but like in our overall industry, like manufacturing and all this stuff, that is surprising you about how organizations and the people in those organizations are changing or struggling?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both, you know.
Yeah.
I think that, and it's funny, you see different things with different organizations, and you do start to see ones that are more progressive and that embrace, and then you see people who resist and kind of push back on it. So I think you see kind of things across the board, but it's very interesting, the whole transition to AI, and it's like in every aspect of our lives and penetrating everywhere, and everybody wants to use it, but you know, we don't back up, and are we ready for it, and do we have some of the fundamentals in place? And you know, there's things we can get day one, there's things that are going to be a year in, there's things going to be 2 years in before I start to see the value of how I'm applying that to different areas. So I think there's still some struggle in some of the business cases and things, but it's changing so fast and evolving so fast. But you know, the risk there is we still have to do the fundamentals well, I think. So I love AI, and I'm as excited about it as everybody else, and it's cool when it starts putting things together for you, but you still have to have the foundations and the fundamentals in place to be successful. And I just encourage people not to forget that you have to do those things well.
I love that, and that's another thing that you understand that, so you don't have to be as skeptical, or your skepticism around what the AI does and interprets and delivers. You can see more clearly where there might be a gap, need to tweak it, teach it. You know, we don't want it going to get a bunch of misinformation.
Properly, right?
Need some guardrails and all that. I'm kind of AI, cool as a tool, but like, how are you using it? How are you letting it tell you what to do? Be careful with that. And those basics are always going to play. And I say it in almost every single episode, and probably going back 4 years. Mm-hmm. And that message doesn't change because that's where people struggle anyway. They know it. Right. They know it. We're just reminding them.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to do great things. And, you know, no doubt it has a huge place in where we're going, but just it's a part of the whole package, right?
Yeah, and I know there's some of that we cannot talk about right now, but I think there are people out there that have an awareness, and we'll see more about that, you know, later this year. Incidentally, when it comes to AI, Matthias and I, so I was lucky enough to go to Hexagon Live, last year, and we got to talk like during the presser, and then we had a little really super quick side conversation, and then I watched some of the things he posts, and I like his perspective on AI, on, that it is machine learning, and he's okay with using the term AI, but he also reminds people that, hey, it's not just that, it's not doing everything for you, but he's got that kind of perspective that I like, as opposed to a lot of the other companies out there, just slapping some AI on their stuff and let it run amok, and yeah. I think that's dangerous. What's your favorite thing about this overall industry, man? Like, do you have like a top thing, or like a couple of things that just always just get your motor humming?
I love the journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I love working with customers to build out their strategic asset management plan, right? I love customers who are focused on it, that are committed to it, and it's so fun to see them go through those levels of maturity wherever they are. And I usually find people are doing things everywhere. They're doing some PDM, they're doing a little AI, they've got some a CMMS or an EAM in place, but a lot of it is kind of a shotgun approach. Sometimes you'll see them doing stuff, but okay, why are you doing PDM? What are you doing PDM on? Have you qualified why you're doing it on these particular assets? So what are you doing with the data you're getting from it? And you start asking those questions. A lot of time, well, I'm doing it because I know I need to do it, but they're not really doing anything with it that's moving the needle. So I love the strategy and implementing a good strategy to pull it together. And I love watching people setting up the governance and establishing the criticality, and then building out the plan based on the criticality. I love it when they start to put it together, and you see the lights go off and you start to see the returns on. I guess I get excited when they get excited, and you start seeing people get wins, and all that ties to the system. But again, it's knowing where you're going and a good plan to get there. And I love watching people make progress. That's always been my favorite thing. And we don't always slow down to think about it. And a good friend had said it one time, but what we're doing really does impact a lot of people's lives. And you don't think of that when I'm out running doing this every day, and I'm talking about asset criticality and PM optimization and why you're doing this stuff. You don't think about it, but we're making drugs that are saving people's lives. We're making food that people eat, and if we can make that more efficient and more effective and reduce waste and save energy, I mean, it really has an impact on the world and the people and the quality. And you kind of think about it from that aspect. It's kind of fun. It gives you some more energy to want to go in and help people do things like that. So I love working with people and seeing the lights come on. That's my favorite part, I guess.
Yeah, and if you really think about what you just said, working with the people and seeing the lights come on, it's literally the lights for them, for their organization, for the people in the communities that they serve, and what they do for the world. I mean, all of it. Totally. Oil production, all the energy, other types of infrastructure. You've got clients that are making the things that we rely on, like the cement and the rebar that is in that bridge that we drive across, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all around us. Yep. And it's pretty damn fascinating and cool all at the same time. Yeah. And do you find it kind of challenging to explain to people what you do?
Oh yeah, I hate it when people ask me what I do. And it's funny because I work closely with sales and selling to customers. So you've got your pitch and your elevator pitch, and here's how I lay it out. And then your best friend asks you what you do, and you're like, I just do sales. It's just it's a complex system, but it is a very complex mesh of things that all come together across the asset lifecycle, but it's such a fascinating event too. I mean, when you start to put it together, but it's fun. I love telling people. I just help people keep their stuff running the way it's supposed to run, for as long as I can make it run, for as cheap as I can make it run, and give the quality that I need to get. That's ultimately, in a nutshell.
Come on, man, that's the formula right there. If you're hitting that, man, you're hitting on all 8.
The holy grail right there, right?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, I got one more question, and then I'm going to switch you into a fun segment. You got to go through that.
There you go.
My question is around retention. I am curious your opinion as now this is from the software side, that you're a provider, you deliver critical services and software that is part of these organizations. I want to ask about retention and how critically important that is to your ability to exist and continue to serve these clients. Mm-hmm. As it relates to so many others, we need sales, but is retention really the name of the game?
Retention of expertise, retention of the clients on the software package.
The clients and the ongoing.
Oh, I think it's huge, right? I mean, that's where you build, that's where you mature and grow, is with those clients too, right? I mean, it's, one, they're critical to your survival, but two, you know, that's where they mature as you mature, and they feed the system, and they tell you how to improve the tool. I mean, I want our system so buried in there they can't replace them. I want them to have that much of an impact in their business and to be integrated into their processes that much that they're that critical. So
and that they should be so satisfied
absolutely.
that it's not a thing.
If they need new stuff, we need to put it in there. You know, I mean, I think it's a partnership, and I'm real big on strategic relationships and strategic partnerships. I mean, if you're going to work together, it goes both ways, right? I'm ultimately here to service you. You're paying me for the software, but my software is there to help you run your organization optimally and achieve your goals that you're trying to achieve. So I think it's super critical for those customers, and it's been fun. I've got some that I've been working with for 30 years across 3 companies, but it's nice to take them with you, and through that they've all been on the same systems. You do see people change. I've seen that and navigate it. It can be painful to change as well, but I'm very comfortable that our solution, if there's a failure, it's not typically the solution. It's either not configured properly, or we don't understand what we're trying to do, or we don't have the right processes to manage and navigate things through and in and out of the system with the configuration. It's not typically the solution. So I think when that happens, we failed in helping the customer set it up successfully. So we have to keep that from happening.
And I also think, I'll add to that if it's all right, the clients themselves need to, instead of thinking, oh, this stuff doesn't work, we don't really need this, if they've had some changes that cause disruption with how they're doing what they were doing so well with the Hexagon EAM, they should reassess what they're doing and find the information that helps them understand why they have it and get back on track. And you guys can step in and help with that, as can the various people that are here to support Hexagon clients, you know, like ReliabilityX, Alevotech, AMG International is in a position to do that now, a couple of other ones. And they might not be named partners, but they want to help people not change their software, but they want to help them dial in their maintenance and become reliable.
Totally.
That's what it is.
And I tell you what, I do see a good bit of, and I see it more now that I'm working with it from the software side as opposed to the reliability side, because that's where my focus is a little bit more attuned. But organizations have turnover, and they lose people, and they don't get new training, or they don't have, you know, to me, it's so critical that organizations invest in that champion, that DORA, or that whoever to be that EAM champion that really, I can't tell you how many places I go where they're frustrated with the system, and the system will do everything they're saying it doesn't do, but what's happened is it was configured a certain way. The people that configured it are gone. Nobody ever trained anybody to be the champion to replace it. They're not even aware that they can be doing a lot of the things that are really fundamental functionality, but you've just had that turnover and that loss of knowledge, and it's never been replenished. So, you know, I just encourage organizations, and I say this from a reliability side too, is you'll spend $100,000, $200,000, $1 million a year, whatever, for an EAM package. Invest in somebody to own it. I mean, it's a minimal investment compared to the price of the package to have that champion that really helps keep it in tune with those business needs. So
yeah, and we should pluralize that, and organizations should document and have it like in your face for everybody. New leadership that parachutes in or whatever. Eliminate that blind spot. Know why you did it, how you set it up, what are the protocols for how we use it, and all those things. And that's another thing that it takes time, so they struggle to do that. And I think that's something they should start on during their implementation phases. And then they gotta keep doing it. I also believe people in every role in every organization should be documenting what they do and why they do it in written and video form or audio form, so that people.
So easy now too to do that.
Yeah, it can get people up to speed quick and know, oh shit, we already have this EAM system. We don't need to be looking for a CMMS.
Yep.
You know, because people do that too.
Yep.
They'll go out looking for a CMMS, and then you get deep into this engagement, because I've experienced this, and then we find out, oh, well, we already have, you know, maybe it's Hexagon EAM or something else. I tell people now all the time, don't change your system. Find out why your people aren't using it. It's not the system usually.
Right.
Even a junky system, you can make it work, right? You can. It's fun question time, man. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. There are no wrong answers here, man. This is This is for us to have a little fun and people get to know you a little bit. And first one, what is your favorite music?
See, I'm a little schizophrenic when it comes to music, so it drives my wife crazy. If I hit my playlist and hit shuffle, you'll get Under Bocelli, Ozzy Osbourne, Garth Brooks, kind of all over the place. But I'm still stuck in the 80s and 90s. I mean, anything in there, country, rock, I can't remember anybody's name, but if you pop up a song from the 80s and the 90s, I pretty much sing it with you.
So anything in the 80s or 90s, that's your era.
Any genre, pretty much. Yeah.
Cool. Next one is, what is your favorite sport or hobby? And on the sport, it can be one you like to root for rather than one that you play or played.
Yeah, like a sport would be football. I love college football. Not as much on the NFL until it gets to be playoff time, but I love college football. I've got Clemson season tickets. I live about 20 minutes from Clemson, so I spend a lot of time tailgating in the summer and got all my kids sucked into that. It's more the journey and an adventure with them and kind of going through that. And we go to all the home games, and we'll pick an away game every year and go somewhere cool. Like they're playing Cal next year and LSU, and went to Boston College this year. 2 years ago, went to Notre Dame. So I love college football, taking the kids and just plugging in and having some fun. So that's my sport, I guess, if I have one for that.
And a very different experience than an NFL game when you go to a college game.
Totally different experience. It's much better to me. There's no comparison for
what I see and minimal experience myself. It's addicting.
Yeah, I love it. It's just so much fun. That's my wife pretty much says, well, I'll see you in December. You know, when football season starts, she's not a big sports fan, so she's just like, okay, we'll see you when it's over. But love it. And a hobby, man, I got a Harley, and I love disappearing on the I live in Greenville, but I love out west when I go to ride. Like I'll not ride it much all year, but then every other year I'll take 10 to 15 days, and I just disappear. I just head out, and life starts after you go through the arch in St. Louis, and then just keep going west and everything out there, man. I just get out there and ride. That's God's country. Just get up, look at the mountains and the
nice out there. Hey, that meets with this general philosophy people are always talking about, like, touch grass. Mm-hmm. Get out there and do some stuff.
And we get so busy, we're running around in life, and that's where I disappear. I just kind of melt into the environment and just enjoy.
Recharge.
There you go. I throw a book in my ears. Everybody laughs at me that rides with me because they're like, you're not even paying attention to where you're going. I'm just riding, listening to a book. We're 200 miles from where we're supposed to be. So.
Well, it's those rides are important, man. I love that. So that leads me into the third and the biggest question of the fun questions. And there's no wrong answers. What is your philosophy, perspective, anything at all? Is it even a thing when it comes to this concept of work-life balance?
You just got to embrace both, right? I mean, we do get sucked up into work, and so much of us find our identity in it, and you kind of bury yourself in it and you do it. But you only get to do this journey once, and keep things in front of you that matter. Work's an important part, and being successful and appreciated and known is huge, and doing a good job in that. But oh man, just I don't know, get out there with your family and enjoy being together and doing things and going and take time to appreciate life, and I think we forget that sometimes, and especially the pace we got. Get off the iPads and get off the iPhones, and let's go hang around outside or go on a ride or journey and enjoy all of it. Don't just get lost in one piece, I guess would be my philosophy. It's just
I love it. There's no
go
wrong
out to
answer.
the lake, have some fun, get on a bike, do something, go hiking, take some time with the family, and then work's always there too, and that's important. Not saying it's not, but it's very easy to fall into a hole sometimes if we're not careful.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, Peyton, I appreciate you being here with me. We're at Streamline Conferences, Greenville, South Carolina, 2026. This has been a blast, man. We finally got it done. Thank you for being on CMMS Radio.
Also, man, we'll do it again, digging in some fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit CMMSradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.